rather start in the midfield.
Yeah, or even
So
like
Fabinho will probably be on the
I
bench.
think someone like Joe Ledley from Wales, who's actually fairly decent. I mean, I think the other person that's interesting to talk about for Palace is Andros Townsend, everybody's favorite former Spurs guy who loves to shoot outside the box, and of course, in true Andros Townsend fashion, he's played all 3 games. He's taken 12 shots. You want to guess how many of the 12 shots were outside the box?
Yeah.
You want to take a guess how many of them he took outside of the box from 12?
Out of 12, let's say 10.
Yep, that's exactly right. And he's leading the league, so some things don't change. All right, I think that's good enough for this game. Let's move on to a not so cold and maybe not so rainy afternoon at Stoke. But Tottenham are away at Stoke City, who are of course last in the league.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this clash?
I think Spurs are still things are still falling in place for Spurs. They haven't exactly fallen in place, but it is beginning to fall in place. So they haven't lost a game yet. Mm-hmm. But last time they faced Stoke away from home at Britannia Stadium, which is now Bet365 Stadium, they won 4-0. But that was a Spurs side which is as good as one could actually see. So Stoke are at the bottom of the league. Spurs have to slightly get the things right, but with Musa Sissoko now coming in, will provide more energy to the Spurs side, which slightly looks exhausted because a majority of the players played in the Euros. Mm-hmm. And Harry Kane looks too exhausted, in my opinion. Up front, he's not performed as per expectations, and Vincent Janssen is someone who's really good off the ball, and he's really impressive hard worker.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a really interesting game, this one.
Yeah,
but I fancy Spurs win.
The funny Vincent Janssen...
It's going to be a close game, but...
The funny Vincent Janssen stat is that he leads the league in fouls committed with 12. But a couple of other things. I think Danny Rose is supposed to be out for this match with an injury.
Ben Davies will probably come in.
Right, but Ben Davies I think is a good replacement. I think Spurs have probably the best sort of reserve fullbacks there. And then
fullbacks were a key part of their play.
Definitely.
Walker and Rose bomb forward were.
Yeah. And then Moussa Dembele is still suspended, of course, and there's also some doubt whether Eric Lamela is able to sort of come back from Argentina with the travel and all that stuff. Stoke are weird because, so as I was saying, that Stoke have been, perennially ninth in the Premier League, and they've actually upgraded their squad with Janelli Mbula and then Joe Allen, and now they've got Wilfred Donny. So what do you think has gone wrong for them? I mean, why are they so? I mean, poor. Is it just a couple of bad games, or is it just the fact that they kind of ran into Man City and then lost to Everton, who have been pretty impressive so far, or is there something like major that's going wrong?
The one thing I've noticed about Stoke early on the season is that they're slightly weak when it comes to defending set pieces. They conceded twice against City, and that was probably the reason why they lost the game 4-1, which did not exactly reflect the kind of performance that City put in.
Yeah, I did watch that. That game was a lot closer until like two kind of late goals.
Nolito scored.
Yeah.
And I think have to be careful against Spurs because with some midfielders who are really good in the maybe all the world, as we know, is when it comes to heading.
Yeah.
Victor Wanyama scored one from a header.
Yeah.
And so I think Stoke have to be careful as set piece.
Yeah, my other problem with them is that, so not only have they given up a ton of shots, actually 21 shots they gave up, which was the second most behind Burnley.
Performed quite well. Probably that's the reason why they brought in Bruno Martins on loan from Porto.
That's
the side.
That's a good point, yeah. But my other problem with them is that they've taken, I think, the fewest shots on goal. It's tied with Burnley, which is they've just gotten 5 shots on goal, and they really needed a striker. So hopefully, Wilfred Boney can be that sort of target man for them. Do you think he'll be?
He's the will as well. Yeah.
Do you think he'll be successful there? Or
Stoker side who like strikers who wanted strikers like him because he's someone who will hold up the ball and allow players like Bojan, Marko Arnautovic and Xherdan Shaqiri to make runs of him, such that he can pick them out and launch counterattacks. So he's a really good signing for Stoke.
So you like it? Yeah, I tend to agree with you as well because I kind of think like Bony is sort of the classic like striker who's good enough for the mid-table teams.
Yeah, proper centre forward.
Okay, good. So you think you see Tottenham winning though, sort of comfortably?
Yeah, they'll just edge this.
Yeah, I probably would have to agree there. All right, so let's move right along and talk a little bit about Arsenal, who are taking on Southampton, who are another one of these teams that have had a rough start to the season with just a couple of draws against Watford and then Sunderland and then the loss to Man United. So what are your thoughts on the Arsenal versus Southampton matchup from London?
One thing I've noticed about Southampton is that under Claude Puel, their midfield is slightly lightweight because after Victor Wanyama departed for Spurs, they brought in Pierre-Emile Højbjerg from Bayern Munich. And classy, I didn't think and Oriol Romeu was injured against Manchester United. So I think this central midfield pairing is a bit of a concern because in the Premier League, you need someone who can help you control games and dictate games, someone who's got a good physical presence.
Yeah, and neither of them are. Højbjerg is a little guy, runs around a lot. And I think like Romeo is sort of, decent size, but not like anybody that people are going to be afraid of.
Yeah, and Arsenal have got Granit Xhaka who's in some form.
Yeah.
So I think Arsenal will probably win this one because they'll control the midfield to some extent.
Yeah, I think Xhaka is like, I think sort of higher of him than other people, but like these are the games that he's going to dominate.
Yeah.
Because you can just sort of sit back and pick out passes. And the other sort of Arsenal signing we should talk about is Shkodran Mustafi, who we talked about at the deadline day, is coming from Valencia. How do you think he will fit into Arsenal?
Yeah, he's a decent signing. Not just a decent signing, he's a really good signing.
Yeah.
And before he was signed, Arsenal fans were criticizing Arsene Wenger for not signing a decent centre-back. But I think he is the man Arsenal need right now. As I spoke last week, what kind of a player he is. I think he will probably start alongside Laurent Koscielny. Will help Arsenal a lot.
Yeah, and then what about Lucas Perez? Do you think he will get a start or is he just come off the bench?
Yeah, with Sanchez up front, Arsenal looked too bleak in attack. Against Liverpool in the first game of the season, they lost 4-3, and they had only 5 shots on target, which is disappointing for a side such as Arsenal, and with Alexis Sanchez up front and Mesut Ozil behind him. So I see Sanchez playing on the left with Oxlade-Chamberlain probably dropping to the bench as he was playing on the left previously, with Lucas Perez up front.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, what about, I'm not sure what the fitness status of Olivier Giroud is, but I could see him, getting a start and then sort of bringing in Perez if they need to.
Yeah, that's a possibility as well. And with Lucas Perez now coming in, Wenger also has the option of playing 2 up front.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting with Arsenal because, you think of them as this sort of attacking juggernaut that they have been.
Yeah.
And now I think they're taking 10.7 shots per game, which is very un-Arsenal-like.
Yeah, exactly.
It's down with West Ham and Sunderland and sort of, those teams. I think. And what about sort of Southampton in general? Do you think they will struggle this season, or they're going to turn it around, or is it just like a temporary thing with them? Or
yeah, we never know about Southampton because they've always been a side who seem to exceed expectations just when you think that they won't be able to perform well. So this time around, I see them finishing mid-table because, as I spoke earlier about the midfield issues, with Oriol Romeu probably out for, say, around a month because the injury against United seemed a bit serious. So I think they will probably get a mid-table finish.
Yeah, it'll be. I think this might be the season.
And a man to watch out for this in this game will be Sofiane Boufal.
Yeah, the new signing, right?
Yeah, he's a really good player. I watched him play for Lille and wrote about him around a year ago.
Okay.
So people are saying that he's not the guy Southampton needed in order to replace Sadio Mane.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, he's a really good player. He's really direct. He's full of pace. And the thing about Mane is that he had more raw pace than Boufal. But Boufal has got that final pass in his play as well. So he's a slightly more complete player than Sadio Mane.
Is it fair to sort of compare him to Riyad Mahrez, or is that just kind of a lazy comparison?
No, I think Boufal is more of that player who plays on the left while Mahrez plays on the right.
Yeah, I mean,
and Boufal has got more pace than Mahrez.
Okay, all right, yeah, because Mane I think is more of a player who exceeds because of excels because of his physical nature, and he's really great at pressing. And I don't think of him as sort of a technically gifted player, although he's good technically, but that's not.
Yeah, sometimes it seems as if all he knows is to do is run.
Which is
run
great
with the ball
for
and take on
Liverpool. But yeah, I think this is a legit question that, maybe Southampton have sort of reached that point where they, are not able to replace all the guys that they've lost, and this might just be one of those years where they take a step back and sort of finish, 14th or something. But, let's leave the Saints.
Then build on from that.
Yeah, let's leave the Saints and go to Bournemouth, which is another one of these teams that has really struggled this year under Eddie Howe. Who, they were one of the surprise teams last year, as I think after the Christmas break, they were the third or fourth best team in the league, which I think kind of shocked everybody. And now they've brought in Jack Wilshere, everybody's favorite talented but injured former Arsenal player. What are your thoughts on the Wilshere fit and then sort of Bournemouth's start to the season?
I think Bournemouth will improve because the work ethic that Eddie Howe's team has had over the past 2 seasons is quite impressive. The way they play is as if they've got nothing to lose. And even last season, they looked really good on the counter. And with the guys like Josh King and Junior Stanislas in their team, and with Lis Musair also starting for them in the friendly against AC Milan.
Right.
So I think they will improve. This is a slightly bad patch. They'll probably get out of it.
It's just a rough patch.
And this home game against West Brom will probably present an opportunity to get rid of their bad form.
Yeah, this would be sort of the time to start off that run. What are your thoughts on Wilshere? How do you think he's going to fit in? And obviously the biggest question is how many games do you think he will
last?
Play? Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe Lewis Cook has done decent for Bournemouth ever since joining from Leeds, and Harry Artez has always been a vital part of Eddie Howe's side ever since that promotion campaign. So I don't know if Howe prefers to play Wilshere over one of these two.
Yeah, maybe not in the.
But he'll probably on the bench at least, and he'll come on in the second half.
Maybe not so much in the first game as well. And West Brom have, I think they've also added some new players. I think Nasser Chadli is sort of the one that everybody remembers, whose Tottenham career have finally has come to an end. What do you think about sort of the season they've had so far? Or, not sort of the most remarkable of seasons, but then again, it's West Brom under Tony Pulis. What do you think?
Yeah, what Tony Pulis is probably trying to do is turn his side into a more technical side than it was last season, because last season it was almost as if they've got so much bronze that the brains part of the game is slightly missing. All they do is knock the ball up front towards Salomon Rondon and rely on him to do some hold-up job and then launch counter-attack. So this season they probably brought in players who are good on the ball and have got pace to go past people. Like they brought in this guy, the guy who started for Wales in the Euros. Robson Kanu,
Yeah, right.
Robson Kanu and Chadli, they are really good on the ball. So